Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to take a look at this new Woodpeckers flush trim base. I want to go over what routers it fits, what router bits I like to use with it, and just in general how to use this thing and all the features of it. So let's check it out. Alright, so let's first answer the question of what is the flush trim base used for. So whenever you're doing any kind of plywood shelving or plywood anything, there's the exposed edges, the plywood edges. And a lot of times you want to glue on a wooden piece just like you see here. But when you do, you're left with a little lip and you want that to end up being flush with your shelf. So what this does is this is a jig that attaches to your router that makes that whole process a lot easier and a lot safer. Now the reason I say that this is safer is because this is the way I used to do it. I would clamp my board on edge like this, and then I'd ride my router along there and try my best to keep it straight up and down. But what ultimately ends up happening is it tips in or out, and it will end up destroying my cut. Also, the rotation of the router bit, you're more likely to have tear out depending on your grain direction, with the way the bit's rotating and everything. But with the flush trim base, it's a lot safer and your cut quality is going to be a lot better. So for example, here's a quick look at what it looks like to flush trim something up on edge like that. It's a balancing act. It's really tough to keep that bit straight up and down. And personally, I have destroyed a couple shelves before by doing it this way. Now I did exaggerate this cut as far as the tipping and all that goes, but you get the point. It is more difficult to do it this way, I believe. But with the flush trim base, everything is oriented completely differently. Your plywood panel is nice and just flat, and your router is straight up and down, and you got all this control going through the cut, doing it this way, rather than trying to do a balancing act with your router, doing it this way. So now that you understand what this tool does, kind of want to just take you in close, show you a few more details, and get into it. So as far as the base of this tool goes, it measures 15 3/8 inch long. It's 6 inches wide, and it's a 1/2 inch thick. It's made out of solid phenolic, so it won't like bend or warp on you over time, or if you're in a shop where it's not, the environment isn't controlled with heating and cooling and all that, this is not going to warp on you. So on the underside, there is this recess right here. So this recess right here, it's milled so that it sits an 1/8 inch deeper than right here. Here's a little setup block that's an 1/8 inch thick, so you can see how that works there. But what that means is you're going to be able to flush trim anything that protrudes the surface up to 1/8 of an inch. Now also on the underside of this jig, you'll find these 2 slots. And these slots are to accept this fence right here. And it's pretty cool. This fence has like these ball bearing things on each side, and they make it slide back and forth a lot nicer. So I'm going to throw this thing in here real quick. Now you can position this anywhere along here, and then once you get it where you want it, you can lock it in place, and that will make it a lot faster to repeat your process of flush trimming any of your edge banding. Now as far as what routers are actually compatible with the flush trim base, it works with the most popular trim routers on the market, and it also fits some 1.5 horsepower motor routers too, so your larger ones. But today I got my Makita trim router base already attached to the flush trim base, and the router bit that I'm going to be using is this 1 inch cutting diameter spoil board bit. And this is also from Woodpeckers, their ultra shear lineup. But I like using this bit because it has such a wide cutting diameter. And with that cutting diameter being so wide, I can cut this nice and flush in one single pass. Now, if I didn't have this bit and I was only using a 1/4 inch spiral upcut bit, I could still do this no problem. It would just take a few more passes. So I highly recommend you pick up one of these bits. To get everything all set up to cut, I'm going to go ahead and install the router in the base. And then I'm going to use this playing card. So I'm using this playing card because I don't want to set this bit to cut flush with this surface because I might dig into it. I want to be sitting a few thousandths higher than that so that way I can sand this perfectly flush. So for that, I'm going to be using this playing card. And I'm going to set that underneath the bit like that, and then lower the router so it's sitting on top of the playing card. And that's it. That's all the setup there is. Now you could stop there with the setup and just freehand this if you wanted to, down there like that. But if you have a lot of shelves and you want to make this process as quick and repeatable as possible, you can go ahead and install this fence. So I'm going to do that real quick. And so to do that, I just first like to set my bit on top of the edge banding right there, and then we can go ahead and install this fence. So I'm pressing that up tight against the edge banding, then I'll tighten this knob, and now we have a fully functional fence that makes this process super quick. All right, with everything all set up, I'm gonna go ahead and make this cut and show you guys how it works. I'm gonna start my router bit off the piece. Press that fence up against there. And just guide that along there at a good speed. All right, pretty good. So I'll bring you in real close so you can see how good we did. So here's a quick look at the finished cut. Looks really nice. No tear out. And that piece is sitting just a couple thousandths above my plywood right here. So everything looks really good. I can grab my sander real quick, make everything nice and flush. All right, guys, well, that about wraps up this short little video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on Woodpecker's new flush trim base. If there's any questions you have about this tool or anything I didn't cover, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.